Officially, good afternoon, and ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Batavia, New York for the 1993 Batavia Pageant of Bands. Members of the Batavia High School Band and Color Guard and the Batavia Band Boosters began working last summer to prepare for this weekend. And we proudly celebrate the Batavia Pageant of Bands' 20th anniversary. Joining us for the celebration this weekend are 19 quality bands and jazz groups, some of which have been taking part in this pageant since its inception 20 years ago. 14 of the visiting groups will be featured in the parade this afternoon, including East Aurora Middle School, Bloomfield's Marching Bombers, Oakfield, Alabama Marching Band, Pembroke's Marching Dragons, North Collins Marching Eagles, the Mindurst Academy, Marcus Whitman High School, Holland Central's Marching Dutchmen, the Medina Mustang Band, and Albion's Purple Eagles. Leading the parade will be our host bands from Batavia High School and Batavia Middle School. We're pleased to also share the spotlight today with two local groups performing an exhibition for the 20th anniversary parade, the Genesee Quest Drum Corps and the mighty St. Joe's Alumni Corps. Many of the bands you will see have been competing since Friday afternoon when jazz groups performed at Batavia High School for nearly 8 hours, delighting audiences with their outstanding ability to play in various jazz styles, swing, ballad, funk, and Latin. This morning began with a concert band competition in which each band was called upon to present a march and a major concert selection and then sight read a selection of music they had never seen before. Color guard and twirling competitions found a receptive audience for their intricate routines. Elaborate and filled with excitement, these performances never failed to thrill and amaze the crowd. The final event at the high school grounds, the Field Band Show, was an afternoon treat for all who watched the precision performance by the Medina Mustang Band. First Batavia Pageant events took place, as we said, back in 1974, and we're pleased to have as our honored guests on the reviewing stand some of the people who were instrumental in creating this annual weekend of musical entertainment. We'd like to introduce the pageant's founders, the 1974 pageant directors, Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth Draycott, 1974 committee chairman, Mr. and Mrs. Sam Ficarella, Mrs. Thelma Andrews, and Mr. William Show. And Mr. Richard Call from Agway, which funded the very first Batavia Pageant of Bands. Also joining us on the reviewing stand are Batavia City Council President Stephen Dvorak and his wife Carol, Batavia City School Superintendent Dr. David Van Scoy and his wife Charlene, Batavia Board of Education President William Mulligan, Batavia High School Principal Glenn Young and his wife Rosemary, St. Nicholas Social Club President Stephen Ferrando, and General Chairperson of the 1993 pageant, Mrs. Anne Marie Starowitz. During the parade, band booster members will be available along Main Street to sell programs featuring the parade order, as well as candid photos of some of the participating bands. Also, the band boosters invite you to enjoy refreshments from the hot dog stand located outside the Genesee Country Mall on the north side of Main Street. Following the parade, trophies will be awarded and bands honored on the grounds of Batavia High School on State Street. Now, as we begin the 20th pageant parade, our host band has reached the starting line. As part of the long-standing tradition, Batavia High School takes this opportunity to honor the senior members of the band, color guard, and jazz ensemble. I'd like to ask all the seniors in the group and their parents to come to the front of the reviewing stand. The seniors are noted by a red rose presented to them by their fellow band members, and at this time, each senior will present a long-stem red rose to their parent or a family representative. Presented with love, these roses are offered in honor and appreciation for all the support during their years as members of this fine organization. And this year's seniors are Carrie Brewster and her parents, Mr. and Mrs. John Brewster. Jonathan Byrne and his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jack Byrne. Jackie Cackett and her parents, Mr. and Mrs. James Cackett. Liz Chua and her parents, Dr. and Mrs. John Chua. No, come on, come on. Come on, we don't want to miss out on this. Here we go. Kathy Jerstead, parents Mr. and Mrs. Lynn Jerstead. Rich Knapp and his mother, Mrs. Georgina Knapp. Tom Knipe and his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Knipe. John Michaelek and his parents, Mr. and Mrs. John Michaelek. Amy Pierce and her parents, Mr. and Mrs. James Pierce. Jim Rowbottom and his parents, Dr. and Mrs. Joe Rowbottom. Jameson Smith and his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Smith. Hazel and Hetty Santillion, Mr. and Mrs. Santillion, parents. Patrick Tian and his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Bruce Tian. Kristen Wolney, Mrs. Kay Federley, an exchange student. And a Rotary Exchange student, Aurelianne Joker, while in Batavia, Aurelianne stayed at the homes of Mr. and Mrs. Peter Terry, Mrs. Kay Federley, and Mr. and Mrs. Robert Knipe. Congratulations, senior band members, and thank you for your years of dedication and support. Would Mr. Ken Hay please step forward? Mr. Ken Hay, would you please step forward? Would you come up here? Here he comes running up here now, jogging down the line. Amy Pierce would like us to read something on behalf of the senior class. The seniors this year would like to publicly recognize Mr. Ken Hay. He has dedicated his life to music and helping other students to make and enjoy music. Not enough recognition is given to Mr. Hay for his long hours of work and dedication to the Batavia High School Band. He has helped us seniors advance musically throughout our 4 years of high school. And we want to thank him for all of his efforts and let him and others know that we appreciate the time that he has spent with us. He is a very special person. We love him and we will miss him. Thank you, Mr. Hay. The senior band members, class of 1993. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Batavia High School Blue Devil Marching Band is proud to be the host of the 20th anniversary Batavia Pageant of Bands. Since its inception in 1974, the pageant has proved to be a quality musical and educational experience for thousands of high school students. It is always a memorable experience for Batavia students to participate in this event, having an opportunity to interact with students from other schools and practice our organizational abilities. Through the years, the Batavia High School Band has been successful in their competition at pageants and festivals all over the Eastern Seaboard, including the Apple Blossom Festival in Winchester, Virginia, the Hershey Chocolate Festival in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and the Festival of Music in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This year was special as the group traveled to Knoxville, Tennessee to participate in the Dogwood Arts Festival Band Competition. On the road April 1st through 4th, the band Color Garden Jazz Ensemble toured Knoxville and the surrounding area and were honored to place 4th in concert, 2nd in jazz ensemble, and 2nd in parade at the competition. A special public thanks goes out to all the businesses, parents, and supporters who made the trip possible. The Blue Devil Band and Color Guard are under the leadership of drum majorette Jan Starowitz and assistant drum majorette Amy Pierce. Color Guard instructor is Michelle Barnes. The band is directed by Kenneth Hay. Ladies and gentlemen, in celebration of the 20th anniversary pageant, a musical welcome from our hosts, the Batavia High School Blue Devil Marching Band. The Batavia Middle School Marching Band and Color Guard is comprised of 70 7th and 8th grade students from Batavia Middle School. In recent years, this band has won awards in marching, concert, and jazz competitions at Springville, Gorham, and Seneca Falls band pageants. Next weekend, they'll again participate in the Gorham Pageant of Bands. This year's musical selection is the Latin piece Montera by Paul Lavender. Band director is John Ranelli. Drum majorette is Jessica Starowitz. Color Guard instructed by Michelle Barnes. Batavia Middle School principal is John Jakubowski. Vice Principal Rita Williams. Our younger hosts for this weekend, the Batavia Middle School Marching Band. will be hosting the Drum Corps New York Championships on August 1st at 1:30 p.m. at Vendetta Stadium right here in Batavia. Director of Genesee Quest is Harold McJury. The drum major, Mike Taggart. Color guard instructors are Jim Allen, Donna McJury, and Sandy Pratt. Quest staff also includes Tom Ronan, Harold McJury for music, Tom Graves for percussion. Marching staff are Jim Allen, Keith Hall, and Sandra Gravich. Please welcome the Genesee Quest Drum and Bugle Corps. Our next band is the East Aurora Middle School Marching Band under the direction of Gail Leary. Composed of 110 students in grades 6, 7, and 8, East Aurora Middle School Band holds the titles of 1990 and 1992 New York, Pennsylvania Junior High Champions. Drum majorette for the band is Crystal Presnell. Color guard captains are Amy Tyler and Melissa Williams. Kathy Schnezzy is the color guard instructor. A hearty welcome for the East Aurora Middle School Marching Band. Conducted by Ernest Liskell, the Bloomfield Bomber Marching Band from Bloomfield, New York, has 120 members from Bloomfield Central School, grades 7 through 12. The band coordinator and marching instructor is Andrew Ventura, while Brad Fuster is in charge of the percussion section. Richard Pronti is instructor for the color guard and twirlers. Drum majorette is Courtney Thornton. Drum major is Daniel Grillo. The Bomber Band was organized in 1983 and has a genuine reputation for quality performance and for putting major emphasis on entertaining the public. The 1993 Bomber Machine is presenting a patriotic theme of Civil War music. The opener, When Johnny Comes Marching Home, leads into the melodic America, and the stirring conclusion, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, a program that brings all audiences to their feet. The Marching Bombers have won first place awards in more than 25 parades and pageants since 1987. The Central School with the Bomber Pride is ready to entertain you, and we're proud to be in the 1993 Batavia Pageant of Bands, their first appearance here. Always a fine addition to the parade. The Hornets Band is comprised of students in grades 9 through 12. The band has marched in many of the local firemen's parades in the past, as well as the Labor Day celebration in Oakfield, New York. This past October, the Hornets marched in the Parade of Bands in Buffalo, New York, in connection with the New York State School Bands Association Convention. The band's directors are John Mikulski and Roger Bolton. Color guard under the direction of Lisa Giordano. Drum majorette is Shannon Fitzgerald. Oakfield, Alabama Central School principal is William Burns. Let's have a big welcome back for the Oakfield, Alabama Central School Marching Band. Under the direction of Thomas Dylick, the Pembroke Senior High School Band has been accompanied by a familiar mouse mascot dressed in Pembroke Central Green. Also under the direction of Skip Taylor, the familiar mouse mascot is dressed in Central Green from Pembroke. It's a souvenir from their triumphant march down Main Street, USA in the Magic Kingdom. In April of 1992, the Pembroke Marching Band Dragons traveled to Orlando. They spent 5 days and appeared in the famous parade at Disney World. This year, the band will be appearing in many local parades and events as they continue the 1993 season. Meanwhile, they've already begun planning another trip in 1994. Color Guard Director for Pembroke Senior High is Sue Meyer. Drum Major is Carl Schoenthal. Color Guard Captain is Tammy Simia. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pembroke Dragons performing for you, the Beatles. Averaging 40% of the 9th through 12th grade student population, the North Collins Marching Eagles march more than 100 strong. Over the past 5 years alone, this band has amassed 56 trophies, 48 of them first place. In 1990, the Assembly of the State of New York awarded the band with a citation for their outstanding performance as a representative of New York State. This year, the band will be performing at a Cleveland Indians game and in Square to Square Parade June 4th through 5th in downtown Cleveland. Band director of the Marching Eagles is Bruce Benson. Norman Muck is percussion instructor. Color Guard instructors are Jeanette Benson, Dorothy Schwartzbach, and Jackie Sutton-Reese. Drum majorettes are Amy Turnbull and Allison Lentstaff. Today's performance by the Marching Eagles is a very special one to this pageant. because North Collins was one of the participants in the very first Batavia Pageant of Bands 20 years ago. From North Collins High School, one of the 20th anniversary bands, the North Collins Marching Eagles. Making their first appearance at the Batavia Pageant, Minders Academy Marching Band, composed of students in grades 7 through 12 from the academy located at Seneca Falls, New York. This band performs annually in the Seneca Falls Pageant of Bands, where they are the pageant hosts. They'll be performing an arrangement of John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes. Band director is Holly Dakin. Drum majorette is Becky Bishop. Color guard captain, Chris Fife. The color guard instructor is Lou Prutzman. Roxanne Stanzak is twirling instructor. High school principal for Minders Academy is Anthony Ferrara. Middle school principal, Irene Angel. So let's join now in a first-time welcome to the Minders Academy Marching Band. Marcus Whitman is the host of the longest-standing pageant of bands in New York State. The Gorham Pageant of Bands is a big event for the small village of Gorham, nestled in a lovely valley southeast of Canandaigua, New York. The event takes place next weekend, and several of the bands seen here today will be attending that event, including Batavia High School. Director of the Marcus Whitman Band is Robert Steele. The color guard is instructed by Brady Rusi and Bruce McReady. Drum majorette is Erica Whiteman. While diligently devoted to working on their own upcoming band pageant, Marcus Whitman has been most supportive of the Batavia pageant as well. They can always be counted on to entertain the audiences with an exciting quality performance, whether it's in their own hometown or ours. So ladies and gentlemen, the Marcus Whitman Marching Band. Another of our 20th anniversary bands, the Holland Central School Marching Dutchmen. They were on hand to perform at the first Batavia Pageant of Bands 20 years ago. The Holland bands have a rich tradition of excellence. The Holland High School Concert Band was selected to perform at the 1993 Music Educators National Conference All-Eastern Conference this past March in Springfield, Massachusetts. The concert, marching, and jazz bands have won numerous first-place prizes at the Springville and Batavia Band Pageants, and the 1992 Concert Band received a gold medal at the Liberty Bell Festival of Music in Philadelphia. The 1993 Holland Marching Band is 62 members strong, comprised of students in grades 7 through 12. This year's selection is a Western tune entitled Wrangler by Michael Sweeney. The band's director, Richard Gross. Drum majorettes are Michelle Tater and Tara Madison. band director is Richard Goss. Drum majorettes are Michelle Tater and Tara Madison. Color guard captain Kathy Gilbert. Holland Central School principal Ron Roma. Middle school principals Dave Walling and Jim Birlia. The Holland Central School Marching Dutchmen. Entering their 22nd year of competitive marching in the State Field Band Conference, the Mustang Band from Medina High School brings with them a record of achievement that has established them as one of New York's finest marching bands. This past year, Eastman Kodak treated visitors to the new Monroe County Airport with the state-of-the-art illuminated panoramic portrait of Medina's own Mustang Band. The band is under the direction of Joseph C. McCain. Assistant directors are James Steele and J. Michael Snyder. Front group coordinator and drill instructor, John Rayan. Front group instructors are Clara Winans and Nancy Snyder. Drumline instructor Paul Brunning is assisted by Thomas Gray. Drill design by Vincent Monticelli. Special arrangements are by Al Corky Fabrizio. Drum majors Rachel Mayer and Patrick Geiger. Guard captain Kim Adams. Twirler captain Lisa Odell. And now we're proud to present to you the Medina Mustang Band. Carrying on a rich tradition of excellence in the Western New York area, the Albion Purple Eagles Marching Band and Color Guard is comprised of 100 students in grades 7 through 12. The band has recently begun new growth and energy and has scored well in pageants in concert, jazz ensemble, and marching. Last year, the Purple Eagles participated in the Shenandoah Apple Blossom Festival in Winchester, Virginia. This year's competition selection is It Was a Very Good Year by Irvin Drake, arrangement by Jay Dawson. Band director for the Purple Eagles is Dale Smalley, assistant director Greg Martellata. Cam Spuck is the instructor for Color Guard, percussion instructor Scott Parker. The band is led by drum major Christopher Wisner and drum majorette Jennifer Allen. Color Guard captain is Sue Murphy with co-captains Renee Beaumont and Jennifer Harris. Superintendent of schools is Ron Sodoma. High school building principal John Green. Assistant principal Ben Gerbic. We proudly present, ladies and gentlemen, the Albion Purple Eagles Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of our 20th anniversary celebration, we present as a special treat a marching unit that has been absent for quite some time, recently reuniting to entertain enthusiastic audiences of longtime fans and new friends. Mighty St. Joe's Alumni Corps was organized in October of 1991 by members of the former St. Joseph's Drum Corps of Batavia. The original corps, founded in 1931 by Father Kelly, pastor of St. Joseph's Church here in Batavia, and Edward Sullivan of Leroy, New York. They've gotten together again to entertain you this afternoon. They started with 32 people. Today the corps is 165, working at various levels. The mighty St. Joe's Alumni Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, the mighty St. Joe's Marching Band. Instructors include Jim DiPaolo, Ed Coslino, Harold McJury, and Don Allen. The brass, Larry Darch, Rex Titus, and John Klein. For drums, color guard instructor Dave Dill. The drum majors are Joe Eduardo and Willie Roberts. Color guard captains Bonnie Meter and Lindy Andre. Twirlers Neil T. Burns and Jimmy Flynn. Sponsors for today's parade by the St. Nicholas Social Club of Batavia, welcoming back to the marching scene the members of the mighty St. Joe's Alumni Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the parade for today. We'll be back again next year, bigger and better than ever. We'll welcome you to come on over to the Batavia Senior High School for refreshments and the award ceremonies this afternoon. For the parade, I'm Dan Neverth saying, have a great holiday weekend. Good afternoon and God bless.
In January of 1988, I pledged to the people of New York State a decade of the child. Since then, this long-term commitment has grown to include a network of programs and services that provide for all children, especially those threatened by poverty, inadequate education, ill health, and broken homes. Even in these very hard economic times, we cannot afford to turn our backs on our children in need.